All right, so this Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss to go to LSU is one of the more fascinating stories of the year, and I think it's a critical juncture for college football. I would say this is the lowest, most critical time in college football. This is definitely a watershed moment, I think, for college football in a lot of ways. And here's the reasons why. Because I'm trying to. When this story came out, I was trying to think, like, who do I blame on this? Who do you blame? And I think the questions that you ask yourself are, who do you blame? How do you fix it? Who has the power to fix it? Those are kind of the main questions, I think, when you're talking about this. The new landscape of college football is insane to me. College football, to me, attracts kind of sharks, or any animal that's comfortable getting in the gutters. You have to recruit players. You have to pay players. You have to recruit players on other rosters. You're always angling for better paying jobs. You have to detach emotionally from your players, coaches, and the fan bases. And this story, more than any other story that I've ever heard of, kind of highlights what college football really is, and always has been, if we're being honest. It's big business. It's big business. So no more mentions. I don't want to hear the term student-athlete or amateurism. It is not that anymore. And where is the problem with college football? It's not professionalization, but it's lack of professionalism. It's the adults that are the problem, not the kids. The cost of doing business comes at the expense of the fan bases, the team, its players, and it devalues this new playoff system. Big-time issues for college football. To me, this is a watershed moment in a critical time for college football.
Yeah, I have so many thoughts on this. None of them, I think, productive. They're mostly all just bitching, like how bad a look it is, how there's no I don't know the answers, Ted. Do you come up with answers?
Who do you blame?
I blame.
How do you fix it, and who has the power to fix it?
I mean, somehow the NCAA has to fix it, right? Like, they're the governing body. So that's our guy, right? Baker, right?
That is
Charlie Baker.
Charlie Baker.
The NCAA.
Do they have power? I mean, I think the commissioners of these, this conferences have the power.
That could be true, too. And there's so much involved. I joked about Rick Pitino went to Twitter and was like, wait, so I could be the number one seed at St. John's in March and go leave for a different job?
This is what Rick Pitino said on Twitter, quote, "I'm not knocking football, but there's something wrong with their calendar.
Yep.
I'm at SJU, St. John's, and we are potentially a 1 seed and can win a national championship this year. And I leave in March? Question mark? What's going on here?"
Yeah, no, it's nuts. And just in case people don't realize, so Lane Kiffin has accepted the job at LSU. He is leaving an Ole Miss program that's going to be in the college football playoff, one of 12
They're
teams.
11-1 and ranked 7th in the country.
So they could go on to win a national title, but he is no longer their coach. He is actually going to be announced, I think, at 4:30, have a press conference as the head coach at LSU. He will probably bring some players with him from Ole Miss to LSU. Those players, the window, I believe, opens January 5th through the 16th.
It's the 2nd through the 16th.
And when is the national title game?
It's the 19th.
So if I'm on Ole Miss and we go on a run here with Joe Judge, and I apologize, the defensive coordinator who's taking over, we go on a run here, and I wanted to join Lane Kiffin, I have to decide whether I'm transferring through the portal before it closes to go to LSU and probably make good money, or stick around and play in the national championship game. That is one of the most effed up things I've ever heard of in the world of sports.
And those players, if they do jump ship, can you imagine what the fan base is going to do to those players?
It's awful.
What they've done, kind of. And I'm like, do I get mad at Lane Kiffin? I mean, most people are mad at Lane Kiffin. Okay, and then let me ask you this. If you had another opportunity to go somewhere else and get paid a lot more money, Fitzy,
would I do it? Would I take that money?
Would you do it?
No.
Would you take it?
Ted, when I would. And when I say
so how can you say that Lane Kiffin is the one to blame?
Oh, no. He's not the only. Your question was, would you get mad at Lane Kiffin? And the answer to that is yes. But do I also get mad at his agent, Jimmy Sexton, who controls a lot of the moves and pulls a lot of strings in college football?
It's the client's decision. It's not the agent.
Ultimately, it is. But Lane Kiffin also, Lane Kiffin is constantly dating the hottest girl in a bar, or at least the girl that we think is the hottest. But he's always looking over her shoulder for another girl to take home. And on top of it all, I blame the conferences. I blame the NCAA at large for creating such an effed up system. The portal should not take place during the college football playoff. The recruiting window shouldn't take place before or during this. He should be allowed to, if he's going to take another job, at least be given the opportunity to properly, even when hopping in conference to an arch rival like LSU, to finish coaching the rest of the season because he is screwing those families. He's screwing his own reputation, which it doesn't seem like he cares about as much. But 5 years from now, if he has a national championship and $50 more million, he won't care that much about it. He's screwing over the players. It's just system gets blamed first, but you can still be mad at Lane Kiffin.
That's fair. It's just I don't know how many people that would pass up an opportunity to go get paid a lot more money. People say you don't care about the fan base at Ole Miss, you don't care about your players. Yeah. And some people say, well, do you care about your own family? You can get a chance to maybe get. Right. Hey, I'm just telling you that's how people think.
I'm with you.
Feinbaum said the money would never be an issue. They would have paid him.
Well, there's no way Ole Miss can keep up with LSU.
No way.
No way they can keep up with LSU. Now, they may give him the contract, but that wouldn't come with the other stuff that LSU is going to put in there, football-wise, assistance-wise, recruiting-wise, wife getting a free this, house free that, all these
jet go to wherever you want.
He just got $100 million. If they manage it properly, his daughter's daughter's daughter is taken care of, right? This is generational money that the Kiffin family is set forever.
So you can't blame him.
I do not blame him. So
who do you blame? Just the system?
The system. And the one solution that I think of is you just have to move everything up, right? Because you get in trouble with the second semester at most schools starts, I don't know, like mid-January?
No, like around January, the Monday after January, right around then, like January 23rd, Andy.
So somehow you have to move everything up so that the national championship is played in December, and then kids can enter the portal, go to a new school, follow their coach. He can leave, he can recruit, and boom.
So you're saying maybe move the start of the season into August?
I think you'd have
to. Or have shorter season, which they're not going to do.
They're not going to do that because that's a paychecks and game day and TV.
Do you guys remember when I was, when we were in college, they played the national championship game on the 1st of January?
Yes. You need to go back to that.
19th.
It was the culmination of like the bowl games mattered, and most of the the run-ups like Independence and Sugar Bowl was usually New Year's Eve, Peach Bowl, all those. And there were only a couple of games on January 1st, Ted, and it culminated in the national championship, and it mattered. Now they stretched it out to a point where it borderline conflicts with the NFL playoffs. It's wild.
Yeah, I think the only answer, if they want to solve it, I don't know if they want to solve it. Do they see a big problem? Do the insiders, that you were talking about, the power people, like the heads of the conference, do they see a problem?
Yeah, they should.
I hope so.
It's just Lane Kiffin, as bad as this is for Ole Miss and the players and their fan base, it's really a college football problem because another guy can do it down the road. So it might not impact your university right now,
right?
But might be a day where it does, where a coach that you hire leaves and takes all of the players with him when your team has a chance to go win a national championship. I think part of the problem is I think all this started. If you're trying to, when did things start really changing in college football? I think is when the players at Northwestern unionized. Is when the NCAA got sued for naming rights in the video games.
Yep.
That, to me, that is where it all kind of started crumbling. And then when they started doing playoffs, look, if you go back to the old way where it's just, hey, who are the top 2 ranked teams? Will they play for the national championship? Then him leaving wouldn't be as big of a deal because it's like, well, he's missing a bowl game.
Right.
But now that there's 12 teams, so any coach in the top 12 of those teams gets offered another job somewhere, this will happen again.
Yep. Yeah. No, I don't. It just sucks. And then there's other details. He wanted to coach. They weren't going to let him coach because they thought he would just be basically recruiting and poaching all their talent, their coaches.
I don't know how they would ever have gotten to a conclusion on that.
And then they also didn't want, essentially, the TV broadcasts of their playoff games to be ads for Lane Kiffin's LSU Tigers.
Oh, recruitment videos like, you like what Lane Kiffin's done, turning around hotty toddy? Come on down, bring your Colonel Rebs to LSU. Go Tigers.
Yeah, it's the whole thing just feels dirty. And I think the cherry on top was Rick Pitino calling him out. Nobody's ever going to pretend Rick Pitino is any sort of like saint or like great, like no. He knows what he is, and even he is calling your system out. So
Lane Kiffin is not walking through that door.
If you want to fix it, you better figure out a way. But the toothpaste is so far out of the tube, Ted, that I'm not sure they can get it back in or know how.
Slipping on it.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question for you, boys. Do you think that this will honestly? Like, to me, I think it's going to kind of, in some way, shape, or form, unless Ole Miss goes on some sort of run and rip that leads them to the title game, and then we all celebrate them and say, ain't karma something? But otherwise, I think this is going to kind of mar the college football playoff.
Absolutely, because one of your better teams isn't at full strength. It's not the same, but there's some similarities to when the kid from Florida State, the quarterback, got hurt.
Jordan Travis.
And you're like, oh, that stinks. But you can't really put him in because they lost their quarterback, but it's not fair. They kind of earned a spot. Well, this team is not being coached by the guy who coached them to 11 wins.
And I don't know, did most of the coaches go? I mean, he was giving ultimatums.
I think 4 went with him. I think Charlie Weiss Jr.
Have they decided yet?
Okay.
But I think there was also
if you weren't on the plane to Baton Rouge, then you will not be coaching at LSU. He gave an ultimatum to all his coaches on the Ole Miss staff that if you don't come with me now to LSU, you'll never be invited to Baton Rouge.
Right. And then Ole Miss went and I believe doubled all the assistants' salaries trying to keep them. So at least they got a paycheck out of it, the assistant coaches. I think Joe Judge is one of those, doubled his salary overnight because of the
Good for them.
Boy, you talk about horseshoe up his butt, man. Golly, that guy.
And how about in like just the theater as far as entertainment value and social media, like we were sharing on our thread last night? You've got fans showing up on the runway, lobbing 500-yard FUs towards Kiffin and his family. Then you got people clapping, saying thanks for like bringing our program back alive. And the funniest thing was outside of Lane Kiffin's office was the roller with all of his clothes and his suits. That Ole Miss literally was like, all right. It was like watching a wife in a comedy being on the second floor outside the window, literally throwing the husband's clothes out on the front lawn.
But he's been through this before. Remember, Al Davis called him a born liar, a born con man. He had his issues at Tennessee, jolted them. Then USC got some payback by firing him. I believe he was fired on a tarmac. I don't believe he was allowed to get on a plane when he was at USC. So, like, he has lived this soap opera for a long time.
Nomadic life, and he's totally fine with it.
Yeah, and
he has no problem with you. Whatever you say or think about him, he's like
$100 million.
When he opens up his bank app every morning and he just smiles like Andy Dufresne on the roof. There.
Screw Ted Johnson. You see all these zeros and commas in this. This nice life. I'm sure his wife and kids and everybody else feels the same way.
Looks like 9 coaches have already gone with Lane Kiffin, including both of his coordinators. Wow. So Charlie Weiss Jr., OC and quarterbacks coach, and Blake Baker, their defensive coordinator.
Can you imagine what those players on Ole Miss feel like right now? Just, I mean, so many kids pick schools because of the coaches.
Yep.
I would say that is the number one reason a kid selects a school. Yes. And all those guys left. I mean, they're all getting paid more money, so they have families. So is it, it just shows you how dirty and how unprofessional college football is.
Let me also ask, do we think today is the final day people will stop thinking of college football? If anyone is green or rube enough to do so, is today the day people finally stop thinking of college football as an amateur sport?
Yes, yeah. Because my guess is
it has to be. It has to be.
Well, I mean, they're getting paid theoretically now, so they're not amateurs.
And I think the next step, because I don't think they're going to do what I said and move the season back or cut games or do any of that. Yeah. So I think the next thing is you don't have to start the semester with the other. You're not really a student athlete. You're an athlete who may be kind of a student later.
But what was the major differential between the hardcore NFL fan and the hardcore college football fan? Would you say? What do you think was the allure to college football over
student athletes?
Some people,
the purity.
They say the purity. Yes, they're playing for the love of the game.
And $1 million.
Well,
geography and purity,
now,
Ted.
Yes, that is now. But it was because those kids, they chose the school that I went to, so I love them for that. They're there because they're not getting paid other than through an education, and so they're there because they love the game, and there's a pureness to it that isn't really thought of in the NFL game, obviously. And I think that was a big draw to the for fans. That is no more. That is not the case anymore.
And you can't follow up. It's not like a freshman comes in and you see him in the spring game and you're like, that guy's going to be our quarterback in 2 years. No, he'll probably be a quarterback halfway across the country for $2.2 million in 2 years if he doesn't. You know what I mean? Like that whole developmental system is gone too.